welcome to. You're joining us for a deep dive.
Oh,
in Formula One.
Yeah,
And
that's good.
specifically, a potential shakeup that has everyone talking Lewis Hamilton maybe
Oh, yeah.
potentially joining Ferrari
Big
in
news.
2025.
Yeah.
It's wild. We've got all these expert analyses.
Yeah.
We've got opinions from all sorts of insiders and
Yeah.
even some parallels to Formula One history.
I love it.
It's going to be good. And the big question is,
Yeah.
what happens when a seven-time world champion
Right.
like Hamilton joins a team
Yeah.
that's already got a rising star like Charles Leclerc and a solid veteran presence like Carlos Sainz? I mean,
Good question.
the experts we've gathered
Yeah.
don't all agree on what might happen. Thankfully, we have an expert here to help us break it all down.
Welcome. I'm happy to be here. It's a really interesting situation for sure. I mean, on the one hand, you have Lewis Hamilton, right? A driver who has basically achieved everything you can in the sport.
Yeah.
And he may be looking for a final kind of glorious chapter with Ferrari. But then you have Charles Leclerc, incredibly talented driver, already seen by many as like the future of Ferrari.
Right.
So the potential for some serious drama is huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the expert opinions that we've gathered are really all over the place.
Interesting.
Some people see this potential move to Ferrari as Hamilton's last chance to grab another championship,
Okay.
while others think it's actually a really risky move
Yeah.
that could actually hurt his legacy in the long run.
I can see that Hamilton might be drawn to Ferrari for a few reasons. The history, the passion, the weight of driving that red car.
Okay.
But you have to think about the downsides too. Ferrari's internal politics are famous for being tough. We've seen this with other drivers like Niki Lauda.
Right. Lauda's time at Ferrari was full of those rivalries and just a ton of pressure.
Yeah.
He actually even walked away from the team and the sport before eventually coming back. It's a pretty dramatic example
For sure.
of how things can go very wrong at Ferrari.
Yeah, it really shows how intense the environment at Ferrari can be.
Right.
It can affect even the most experienced drivers, The team's history is full of these stories about internal conflict and rivalries between drivers. That's what makes this whole idea of Hamilton joining so interesting. How would he deal with that pressure?
Especially considering Leclerc is already a major force at Ferrari.
Totally.
How do the experts think this dynamic might play out between them?
Well, there's no doubt that Leclerc is very much a part of Ferrari.
Right.
I mean, look how his side allegedly orchestrated the replacement of the team principal, Mattia Binotto,
Oh, wow.
with Fred Vasseur, someone Leclerc is much closer to.
That move definitely shows that Leclerc is not afraid to use his influence within the team.
Exactly. And Vasseur's management style is known to be more driver-centric, so that could end up favoring Leclerc even more.
So bringing in Hamilton could create a real power struggle, especially with Leclerc already used to having a certain level of influence.
Absolutely. And let's not forget about the Italian press.
Yeah.
They are so passionate about Ferrari, and they put a lot of pressure on the drivers. Can you imagine what it would be like
Oh my God.
if Hamilton and Leclerc were battling it out on and off the track?
Especially with Leclerc already carrying that weight of being the chosen son,
Yeah.
the Italian prodigy, the
Yeah.
one who's expected to bring Ferrari back to its glory days.
The pressure on Leclerc is already immense. Bringing in Hamilton could either push him to do even better or completely crush his confidence.
It's true. Then there's Carlos Sainz. He's been quietly delivering strong results for Ferrari.
Yeah, he has.
What do our experts think will happen to him if Hamilton joins?
Well, Sainz has shown that he's a very capable driver. He consistently outperformed Lando Norris at McLaren.
Yeah.
And has held his own against Leclerc in several races.
He's definitely not someone to underestimate.
No, not at all. The question is, can he keep his position and stay calm if Hamilton joins the team and the pressure gets even worse? It's a very high-stakes environment, and there's really only room for one driver at the top.
So we've got Hamilton potentially tempted by Ferrari's legacy, Leclerc trying to hold his ground as the chosen son,
Right.
and Sainz quietly trying to prove himself. But our experts are bringing up another factor here.
Yeah, we're seeing this new generation of drivers coming up in Formula One.
Okay.
Drivers like Verstappen, Norris, and of course, Leclerc.
Right.
These younger drivers are consistently doing better than the veteran drivers.
Interesting. So Leclerc being right at the front of this new generation could be a real challenge for Hamilton, even with all his experience in championships.
Exactly. We've already seen how this new group of drivers races. Daniel Ricciardo was outperforming Sebastian Vettel at Red Bull.
Yeah.
And then Leclerc basically dominated Vettel when they were both at Ferrari.
Wow.
These young drivers are fearless, they're hungry, and they're incredibly skilled.
So even with Hamilton's amazing track record,
Yeah.
he might be facing a whole new level of competition with Leclerc.
It's definitely possible Leclerc represents this wave of talent that isn't intimidated by reputation. He wants to win, and he's not going to back down from a challenge.
Okay.
Even if it's a 7-time world champion.
So we have a potential clash of generations brewing within Ferrari.
Yeah.
With Leclerc representing this new wave of talent that's really eager to prove itself.
It raises a big question for Ferrari. Will they focus on Leclerc's development and risk upsetting Hamilton? Or will they fully support Hamilton in his quest for an 8th championship?
Right.
And maybe risk jeopardizing Leclerc's future with the team?
It's a huge decision for Ferrari. Do they stay loyal to their chosen son, Leclerc?
Yeah.
Or do they gamble on a proven champion like Hamilton? The potential consequences are massive, and the experts have some strong opinions about what Ferrari should do.
Ferrari does have a history of favoring certain drivers.
That's true.
Remember what happened with Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna?
Oh, yeah.
That rivalry really tore the team apart.
And that's what makes this whole situation so fascinating. Will Ferrari learn from their past mistakes? Or are we headed for another internal implosion?
And who will actually come out on top in this potential power struggle at Ferrari? Will anyone?
Great questions. And we'll dig into all of this in just a minute.
It really shows how tough it can be to balance loyalty and ambition. I mean, Ferrari wants to win championships, of course.
Right.
But they also want to develop young talent like Leclerc. Trying to find that balance could get really complicated.
It's true. It's like everyone's playing poker, holding their cards close and waiting to see who makes the first move. Our experts have given us some possible scenarios.
Yeah.
But we won't really know what will happen until the cars are on the track in 2025.
Right. And even then, Formula One is so unpredictable.
Oh, yeah.
A regulation change, a new technical development,
Right.
Even a driver having a bad day, all of that can change things completely.
It's what keeps us hooked.
Yeah.
But for this deep dive, let's imagine Hamilton actually joins Ferrari.
Okay.
What are some scenarios our experts have laid out?
Well, one possibility is the fairy tale ending.
Oh.
Hamilton gets a new burst of energy at Ferrari, works perfectly with the team, and wins that 8th championship.
Wow.
A perfect ending to an amazing career.
That would be incredible to see.
It would.
But it's probably not going to be that easy, right?
Probably not.
Our experts seem to think there are other possibilities.
Yeah, for sure. Another scenario is that Leclerc steps up his game even more, proves he's the true leader at Ferrari, and outperforms Hamilton. He could push Hamilton into a supporting role.
That would be huge for Leclerc.
It would?
It would really solidify him as the dominant force at Ferrari and maybe even the future of the sport.
Exactly. And then there's the chaotic scenario, the one where the rivalry between Hamilton and Leclerc gets toxic.
Oh, no.
The team implodes under all the pressure and Ferrari ends up losing everything.
Okay, so those are the three big ones. Hamilton's triumph, Leclerc's dominance, or a complete meltdown for Ferrari.
Yeah.
I'm already feeling the tension.
Don't forget about Saints, though.
Oh, right. You mentioned earlier that Sainz could get lost in the shuffle if Hamilton comes in.
Yeah.
Do you think he's really that vulnerable? He's consistently had good results.
Sainz is definitely talented, no question.
Yeah.
But he's in a tough spot. If Hamilton joins Ferrari, the team's main focus will be on winning championships and developing Leclerc.
So where would that leave Sainz?
He could become the odd man out. You know, the expendable one,
Right,
as Ferrari chases glory.
He's already going up against Leclerc.
Yeah.
Adding Hamilton to the mix makes his position even harder.
Exactly. He needs to deliver exceptional results every single race to show he deserves to be there.
So it's like Sainz is fighting to stay in Formula One.
Yeah.
He needs to prove he's not just a second driver.
He needs to show that he can handle the pressure and that he deserves that Ferrari seat just as much as Hamilton or Leclerc. Otherwise, he could end up as just a side note in this whole drama.
So we need to pay attention to Sainz too, not just Hamilton and Leclerc.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that even with all the big names, there are always those underdog stories happening.
Right. Drivers fighting for their spot, trying to make their mark.
And those underdog stories are often the most interesting. While everyone's watching, Hamilton and Leclerc Sainz is this silent warrior battling to stay in the game. Our experts have given us so much to think about.
Yeah, it's clear that bringing in a 7-time world champion like Hamilton would really shake things up at Ferrari.
Yeah.
It could push everyone to do better, the drivers, the engineers, everyone.
But it's also like throwing a bomb into an already chaotic situation.
It is.
We know it's going to explode.
Yeah.
We just don't know how much damage it'll cause.
Only time will tell. But one thing's certain, the 2025 Formula One season is going to be one of the most exciting and unpredictable we've seen in a while. Maybe we'll even see some unexpected heroes come out of it.
Maybe.
A driver like Sainz, overlooked and underestimated,
Yeah.
could surprise us all.
That's what's great about Formula One. Anything is possible, and that's why we keep watching.
So basically, we've got a potential clash of titans happening at Ferrari. Hamilton's ambition against Leclerc's dominance. Sainz fighting to stay in the race, and a new generation taking on the old guard.
A lot going on.
It's a recipe for intrigue, rivalries, and a whole lot of unknowns.
Wow. It sounds like we're in for a wild ride in 2025. But let's bring it back to you. You've seen all these expert opinions and analysis about the fans. What really stands out to you?
I think what's most interesting is just how many different ways this could go.
Yeah.
Will Hamilton find that last bit of glory? Will Leclerc prove he's the top dog? Will Sainz overcome the odds? Or will Ferrari just collapse under the pressure of all these big personalities?
It's not just about who's fastest on the track,
Just
right?
like
It's
that's
about
it.
ambition, legacy, and how all these personalities clash.
It's like a real-life drama playing out right in front of us. So considering how much is at stake and all these conflicting ambitions, who do you think will come out on top at Ferrari, if anyone?
That's the question everyone wants answered.
It is.
And it's going to keep Formula One fans on the edge of their seats for the next few years. We
Okay.
can look at all the data, we can imagine different scenarios.
But in the end, the answer is out there on the track.
That's what makes Formula One so exciting. We can talk and analyze all we want,
Yeah.
but the real test is what happens on race day.
It reminds us that even with all the expert opinions and predictions, sometimes the most unexpected thing happens.
And that's what keeps us coming back. The unpredictability, the drama, the human element of it all.
So as we head into the 2025 season,
Buckle up.
this whole Hamilton-Ferrari saga is just one of the many stories that will unfold, and we'll be here with all of you watching every twist and turn.
Make sure to share this deep dive with your fellow Formula One fans.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe too for more deep dives into the world of Formula One. Until next time, keep those engines revving.